This is Cameron Mackenzie. He's the master distiller at Four Pillars, and he's my best friend. Well, he does know that we're close friends, but when you make a gin like this, you instantly becomes my best friend. So let's meet Cam here, Four Pillars Gin, and their latest creation, the Olive Leaf Gin. Hi guys, and welcome to High on Gin. If you have been watching some of my previous videos, you know that I have a huge love for Four Pillars. The master distiller behind Four Pillars Gin is Cameron Mackenzie. And you know what? Cam and I actually goes way back. The first time we met was in 1996 in Atlanta, Georgia. Cam was an Olympic sprinter for the Australian 4x400 meter relay, and I was there as a spectator. I'm not quite sure that he saw me, as I was one of the 85,000 spectators on the Centennial Olympic Stadium. But you know what? You never know, right? But just because that Cam and I has what you could call a distant friendship where I know him better than he knows me, doesn't mean that we can't have fun together. At least with this, his latest creation, the Olive Leaf Gin. And Cam calls this the best gin since Four Pillars Rare Dry Gin. And he doesn't say that lightly. So let's take a closer look at this gin here. The idea behind the gin started in 2015 when Cam started looking into these more savory botanicals for a gin. The inspiration came from two different places. One of them was this typical style, Spanish style gin and tonics. You know, the large copa glass gin and tonics garnished with lemons and fresh rosemaries and thyme. And then, of course, undoubtedly their cooperation with Santa Mania Distilleria Urbana and their first release together of the Four Pillars Distiller Series gin called Cousin Vera, where Santa Mania brought in these more savory botanicals into the gin. If you haven't seen that episode, I will link to it up here, the Four Pillars Distiller Series. I really think that you should check that one out. But a couple of years ago, things went from thoughts to action. And Cam's buddy, well, a real buddy and not a wannabe like me, that is Tim Smith. And he happens to work at the world-renowned Cobram estate that produces olives in the Yarra Valley. That is the same valley where you will find the Four Pillars Distillery. And in 2019, Cam went with Tim to see the harvesting of these olives. And while they were walking in this area with this intense olive green savory character to it, all they could think about was a martini. So Cam instantly knew that he had to do a gin with olives to try to capture this smell, this feeling, and not least to satisfy his own urge for a great martini. The Four Pillars team spent 18 months of countless test runs until they were satisfied. Think about that. How much fun it must be to be part of that process. That, my friends, really describes my dream job. So let's try to understand how they have designed this gin here, and let's make it into these layers that I often do. First, they have built a base, a lot of juniper from Macedonia, orris root, and some coriander seed, and you know, that is classic for a good gin. Then to add to this base, they have used Australian macadamia nuts that adds a sweet, kind of buttery texture to a gin. You know, it's super expensive to use these macadamia nuts, but it is so worth it. To add to this textural notes, they have added 3 different olive oils from 3 different olives. And as far as I remember, it is Picual, Hojiblanca, and Coratina olives, all of them harvested at the farm close by. And it adds to the texture, but it also gives this fresh, grassy notes. They only use the first cold press olive oil, where the olives are pressed within 3 to 4 hours after they have been harvested. And then on top of that, they have added olive leaves and 2 other savory herbs like fresh rosemary and bay leaves, both of them from Cam's own garden. And if you have ever tasted olive tea leaves, which is actually just dried olive leaves, they really bring this slight sweetness and mild sweet aromas of an olive with it. The 5th layer is a citrus layer that is added by using fresh local lemons, grapefruit peel, and of course lemon myrtle that 4 Pillars so often use. And lemon myrtle is this Australian native herbs that, when crushed, has a very distinct lemon fragrance, a bit like lemon verbena, I've been told. It has a higher citral content than what you would find in a lemon, and when adding this, you get the lemony taste, but you don't get the same acidity. Maybe that's where the secret behind 4 Pillars gin lies. And finally, they have used a bit of lavender, but you don't notice the lavender when you smell or taste the gin. They only use lavender to kind of lift and complement other aromas. So it becomes what you could call a vessel more than it becomes a flavor of its own. Let's smell it. Oh yeah. Wow, this is really, really good. The juniper is definitely there, and there's a hint of lemon and some fine green notes, a slight sweetness to it. These slight sweet green notes. It's not like you think olive, but then again, it is so fine, it is so delicate. And when you taste it, the olives are definitely there. You instantly feel this smooth oiliness from the olives and the macadamia nuts. Wow, the touch of citrus and this umami kind of feel, and then the alcohol that makes it this fine taste hanging there and hanging and hanging. Damn, this is good. This is really, really good. As a gin and tonic, I suggest that you go all in Mediterranean style and use a large copper glass like this one. A Fever Tree Mediterranean tonic, lots of ice, a sprig of rosemary, and a slice of lemon. Trust me when I say, even though this is a big gin and tonic, you want another one and another one. And as a cocktail, you would have to try the martini. I like my martini with 3 parts of gin and 1 part of white vermouth, or wet martini. If you prefer a more dry martini, the ratio is just 6-to-1 instead. Or maybe you like it like Winston Churchill that once said, "I would like to observe the vermouth from across the room while I drink my martini." Well, obviously he didn't like vermouth. Whether you prefer, whatever you prefer, put in a couple of drops of your best olive oils to the drink. And that, my friend, will be a drinks for the gods and for you. So guys, there you have it. I would have to agree with my friend Cam. This gin here is one of the very best to come out of 4 Pillars, and that says a lot. This gin has already received a gold medal at the San Francisco Spirits Competition in 2020, a gold medal at the World Gin Awards 2021 as the world's best signature botanical gin. And it has won my heart. And if you live in Denmark, go to the Collection Spirits website and get your own bottle of this, the Olive Leaf Gin. And maybe some of the other 4 Pillars gin while you're there. Until next time.